Hello, everybody. My name is Robin Aitken, and I'd like to thank you for attending this webinar where we're going to talk a little bit about our brand new e-commerce platform called Amplify from EasyAsk. Just before I go any further, there's a little bit of housekeeping. If you've got any questions, please do type them in the GoToWebinar question box, which you should have on your screen. My contact details are on the screen as well. We'll put them up at the end of the presentation as well, should you need to email me or get in touch about anything. So we're talking about Amplify, which is our new e-commerce platform. And many of you will know us from as Storefront customers, because EasyAsk is the search engine which is built into Storefront, and we also work directly with many Storefront customers to assist them in getting the best from that. And one of the things that has happened over the last couple of years is that many users have told us that at some stage they're going to be moving on from Storefront, and they've got a number of things on their checklist that they would like to make sure that they can get. And so what customers have been telling us they need is a modern mobile-friendly website. Of course, Storefront is anything but that unless you've put plugins on top of it. And so this is really the number one thing that most Storefront customers would like, is a really modern looking mobile-friendly website that makes it really easy for customers to order online. They, of course, need all the functionality that they currently have in Storefront, but more, and there are many more things that customers have mentioned. They want easy implementation. Obviously, moving e-commerce platforms can be a big task, and with some of the projects that we've been made aware of with other companies, these things can take anywhere from 6 months up to 2 years. And so one of the things that we did when we designed Amplify was we built in a lot of functionality to make the implementation easy. And of course, we've used our in-depth knowledge of the Storefront system and the data structures and the needs of the customers in order to make a really easy implementation. Obviously, you're going to want integration with your existing ERP. Most customers are sticking with Infor in terms of the ERP, and so we obviously need to integrate with that, and we do. Something that's comes up time and time again is the need to be able to improve the data. And one of the problems that many Storefront customers have is that the data has come from the ERP. There aren't many facilities within Storefront to improve it, or it's difficult to improve it. And so what the user sees is less than perfect. And so being able to improve the data quality and the completeness of the data is really important. And that's one of the areas that we're going to focus on today. And I'm going to demonstrate some tools that we've generated that allow you to fix problems in your data. Easy product management, again, is fairly high up the list of priorities. And it's because in Storefront, it's anything but easy to manage products. And so we've built into our system a PIM that makes it very easy for you to augment your product information that comes from the ERP and to enrich it in such a way as to make it more attractive when it appears on the front end. So just before we go any further, I'd like to put a poll up on the screen just to find out what the audiences or the audience members are thinking of doing in terms of leaving Storefront, moving off the Storefront platform. So Matt, I think you've got that open.
Yes, I do, Robin. So it's a quick question of, do you have any plans to move off of the Storefront platform? Right now, all of the answers are yes for varying different years, within a year, 1 to 3, and 3 to 5.
Okay,
about
many more to come in.
So have voted, so we'll give it a couple more seconds, let everyone get their votes in. All right, so it looks like we're at about, oh, it's almost 30, 30, 30, Robin. 22%, 3 to 5 years, 44%, 1 to 3 years, and 33% within a year.
Okay, and everybody has got plans at some stage to do it. So that's interesting. I thank you for giving us that information. Obviously, that is totally anonymous. We've got no idea who has said what. With that, let's just move on. And I'm just going to go through some highlights of Amplify. So firstly, it is the latest generation technology. Because we've only built it over the last 2 years, we've made sure that we use the very latest technology so that it's not going to go out of date for a long time. And of course, we've built it around the EasyAsk natural language search capabilities, and all of the features that EasyAsk enables, we're taking advantage of in the Amplify system. That's not true with Storefront. Storefront severely limits the functionality of EasyAsk, and obviously most customers have no control over that. So Amplify really leverages all the functionality and some of the clever features that EasyAsk has that other platforms have done to a certain extent, but Amplify, because we've been developing it, then we're able to take advantage of every single feature that we can. Of course, we support mobile-ready responsive sites, and we do that in a number of ways, and I'll talk about that in just a moment. It's a fully featured platform that's going to support not only your B2B users, but if you want to create a B2C site as well, you can do that, and you can have a combination of both. And so we can configure multiple sites within the same platform with different rules about whether to show prices and inventory and so on, and custom pricing obviously on the B2B side that comes from the ERP. But we will support both, and so this platform gives you the ability to not only continue the B2B online business, but to expand into B2C if that's something that you want to do. And we know that several Storefront customers of ours are planning on doing that. It gives a really advanced user experience, and what that means is that your B2B business users are able to get the same sort of experience that they get on competing B2C sites. So all of the functionality such as product finders and mega menus and being able to do things on the mobile phone, all of that will be enabled on your B2B site, and so meaning you can compete with the best B2B sites out there and also the B2C competitors. And all of this is managed through a back-end management console, which is really easy to use. And I'm going to show you a little bit of that today with something we call data transformations. A little bit more detail on the front end. Many of our competitors talk about headless commerce, and what that means is that they offer an API to access the functionality. And unfortunately, if you've just got an API, then you have to write the front end to actually access that API and to do all the transactions on the web. We have an API too, but we also give you a site manager, and the site manager allows us to configure pages, templates, widgets, so we can create the site too. Those customers that want to use an API, perhaps because they want to create a mobile app or something like that, can use the API, but you don't have to. Our site manager uses the API, and you can simply create a site through configuration. And of course, because we're template driven, all of our templates are responsive, mobile friendly, and support any look and feel. And I've got a couple of examples on the next screen, the sorts of look and feel that we've been playing around with, different styles on different size screens, including iPads and of course on phones. So we will support any type of device, because everything is made to be responsive. And if you want to create an app, then of course you have the API to allow you to do that. So on the front end, it's a B2C type shopping experience with things like mega menus, interactive product finders. If you want to configure those, they are simply configurations. Merchandising zones, which are driven by natural language rules to allow you to put all your manager specials or whatever on the home page or any other page for that matter. And of course, we've got the best search in the business. And embedded in Amplify is the EasyAsk natural language search, which is by far the best search in e-commerce. Of course, we've got lots of B2B functionality. I don't intend to read all of this, but it's comprehensive. Everything that you can do in Storefront, you can do in Amplify. We have an online ticketing system, and we have much, much more, far too much to talk through at the moment. In the back end, we support multiple catalogs, multiple warehouses and stores, multiple companies, multilingual and multi-currency, of course, and it's business user friendly. So the back end features things like business rules, assigning products to categories, all controlled using EasyAsk natural language capabilities. So that is one of the key benefits to having EasyAsk at the core of the product, is that even the back end uses EasyAsk search functionality. There's comprehensive user management, so you can decide who can do what within the organization, and of course you can have it completely open if you don't want to do that. We support multiple product types, so bundles, simple products, variants, products with SKUs, configurable products, and so on. And we have, to manage all of that, a really great product management system. And that allows you to take what you get from the ERP, which is usually relatively basic, and to supplement that with information which can come from any source, or you can simply enter it through the PIM itself, and create a really rich set of product information and enhance the experience that your users have when looking at that. And of course, all of that data can be coming from different sources. And one of the things that I'm going to be talking about a lot more today, and I will show you some examples, is data transformations. So data transformations allow you to clean and standardize the data, to extract information from data in order to create searchable and filterable attributes, and to normalize variations, to get rid of all those inconsistencies automatically and provide good clean data. And of course, once you've got good clean data, not only does it look better to your customers, but the whole site will perform better. We also have a content management system for non-product data. So if you want to add pages onto your site for the About Us, the frequently asked questions, or a blog, or anything else for that matter, then you can do that through the content management system, which is for the non-product information. We have comprehensive reporting and tracking. I'm just going to expand on that slightly, because those of you that use EasyAsk know that EasyAsk already generates pretty comprehensive search and navigation analytics, and though these are really powerful, what we're adding with Amplify is the ability to log all activity. So every product that is viewed, every product that is placed into an order or actually ordered. So we start to build up a picture of which searches are leading to which purchases and so on. Because we have all this information in a comprehensive log database, we're able to use EasyAsk's advanced query system to ask natural language queries of the log data, not just the product catalog, but the log data. And what that means is you can ask questions such as, what were the top 10 selling products in the last quarter? Or what was the total order value for a given customer in the last month? or what were the top selling manufacturers in the last couple of weeks. All of those types of things become possible because we have the data, and because EasyAsk has a module that allows us to plug into the analytics log so that these questions can literally be asked exactly as I put them on the screen, and we'll respond with the appropriate data. Couple of highlights specifically for Storefront. Obviously, we've got the Infor ERP integration. Using the pre-configured import definitions that we've created means that we can get the data from your Storefront catalog into the Amplify catalog really, really easily. And of course, the data transformations allows us to improve the data quality. And I'm going to focus on the data transformations now and show you a demonstration. Just before that, does anybody have any questions based on what I've said so far? Matt, have you got any at the moment?
Yeah, we'll give them a sec. Let's see if anyone throws in there in the question box. So if you guys have any, please throw them in. We got one that just popped up, just more of a general. Looks like, what makes Amplify different from the other B2B platforms?
Okay, that's a good question. I think obviously we know the Storefront client base very well, and we know Storefront very well. So we've been able to understand what customers need and build a system that matches all those requirements, but also used our in-depth knowledge of e-commerce generally to be able to expand on that. And things like the data transformations that I'm gonna show you next are real game changers when it comes to how do we fix our data. There are many other things that we could talk about that we think put us separate us from the competition, if you like. But I think one of the things that, and hopefully you'll get the gist of it in a few moments when I show it you, but data transformations is going to allow you to fix a lot of problems.
Robin, that is it for the questions right now.
Okay, let's press on and look in a bit more detail at data transformations. And data transformations are probably best shown initially through a really simple example. And this is a real example of a product name that one of our customers has given us. They gave us their data to play around with and to help design the system. And this is the product name for a piece of lumber. This is a company that sells lumber, amongst other things. And this product name is telling us that the lumber is 2 inches thick, 6 inches wide, 12 feet long. It's smooth on 4 sides. It's Douglas fir, and it's premium quality. The problem that the customer has is that when their contractors come to the site, they've got no way of choosing 6-inch wide timber. They have no attributes with their product, no attributes at all. All they've got is the product name. And of course, it's very difficult for a contractor to look at a long list of hundreds of pieces of lumber with all these measurements, all in uppercase, by the way, which makes it even harder. And so we use this as an example. And what we can do with a data transformation is to take, in this case, the product name and use rules to extract the useful attribute information. So in this case, we're taking the thickness, the width, and the length, and we're putting them into attributes. So this product now has attributes that can be used in search. They can be filters on the screen, so the contractor can click on the 6-inch thickness to see all products that match that specification, and so on. Additionally, we can do other things such as expanding the abbreviations, changing the case, and so on. And so we've gone from a very cryptic looking product name with no attributes to a much more readable product name, which is much more searchable and we have attributes for filters. And there's lots of things that we can do with data transformation. So it's all about fixing data problems, deriving new fields, and also improving the look of the data, things like changing case and so on. And fixing inconsistencies. And I put an example there. This was an example from another customer where the term gallons was described in 4 different ways in different parts of the catalog. Now, data transformations can be limited to certain parts of the catalog. So you may have one set of data transformations for your lumber, you may have another set for your power tools, for your screws, and so on. And they can be configured to run at various times. So maybe you want to run the transformation every time the product is saved or every time it's imported from the ERP, so that if changes happen in a third-party system, we automatically apply the changes again. And we do it use a data transformation is essentially a script with a number of commands in it. So we have things like if commands, extracting data commands, storing data into fields and attributes, replacing strings in data, and so on, including, you know, converting the case. Very straightforward to use. And with that, I'd like to just demonstrate using the actual. Let me just see if I can get to the browser, and we're in Amplify at the moment, and I'm going to show you three different types of problems that we have in this product data that I've got as a sample. So firstly, I've got a lot of DeWalt products, things like tools and blades and drill bits, etc. And none of the model code fields have been populated. And in fact, if I can show you that in just a moment. The second problem is that we don't have any attributes on any of our lumber products. So we don't have any width or thickness or length. And the same with the screws. We don't, you know, there's no way of a contractor saying, I'm looking for 3-inch screws or 2.5-inch screws. It's just not possible. The only way the contractor can find them is to browse through the screen, which is quite a painful process. And of course, we've got lots of abbreviations, as you can see from the products on the screen at the moment. This is data which is directly from the ERP. And of course, the ERP has limited the size in this case. And so the customer has had to use abbreviations in order to get the information in. So let's look at a very simple example first, which is our DeWalt products. And I'll just show you one. If I just zoom in on DeWalt, and I'll just edit one. So here we've got one, which is a jigsaw blade. And if I just show you this, you will see, just bear with me. There we go. We've got a product name. But really everything else is blank. So we have no model code. And one of the things that this customer wanted to do is to get the model codes populated. So what we will do is use a data transformation to do that. And so I'm going to go to the data transformation screen. And I'm just going to show you the rule for DeWalt products. And this is a data transformation. It's got a name and a description. As you can see, I've limited it to this particular category. And notice that I've got a run when, and at the moment it's set to on demand. But if I wanted it to run every time we imported products into this category, I could select that. But the script is the key thing. This is very straightforward. I've got an if command, and it says if product name matches this pattern. And this pattern is what we call a regular expression. And don't worry too much about regular expressions, because we're going to do a webinar on that as well. But regular expressions are used throughout IT and computing as ways of pattern matching in text. And all this is saying is that it's looking for DeWalt followed by a number of characters, because all of these products have got the word DEWALT, and then the model code actually follows it in the description. So all we're doing here is we're going to say, okay, based on there being a match, we will extract from the product name using this pattern into this thing called $model, which is actually just a variable, and then we're going to store it. I'm just going to come back out and show you that actually running. And I can do that best just by going into test mode. And test mode allows me to look at the commands that I've done and to try them out on data without actually making any changes. Note, it says, please note, no data will be changed. And I can put in a product ID, or I could do a search, and I could, maybe just do a search for DEWALT, like so, and choose a product. I'm just gonna use a product that I've already set up, 835. So if I click on that product, what the system does, it says, this is the product data now. Here's all the product fields. Notice there is no model code, it's empty. Notice it has no attributes. And I could run this script from start to finish, but I can also click on this single step button. And if I do that, you'll notice that that means it's executed the line that was highlighted. It executed that if command. And the if meant, because it was true, it did match. We're now executing the commands that are in this little block delimited by these squiggly braces. And so now we're going to extract from the product name using that pattern into this thing called a variable. And as you can see, there are no variables at the moment, but if I click on single step now, notice that this thing called $model has now got the correct value. That is the model code that has come from the data, and that has come from the product name. So it's detected that string there, and it's placed it into a temporary storage location that's just got the name model, and all our variables begin with $, just to make them easily detectable. Now we're going to store that variable value model into the model code, which is the field. And so if I click on single step, if I just scroll down, you'll see now that that product model code has been updated. And so what we've done there is simply run a line at a time to check that our little script is working. So let's look at another example that is slightly more complicated. Let's go to look at our lumber products, and I'm going to go into this data transformation called extract the lumber sizes, and I'm going to click on test for that. And I'm just going to select a product 45. And as you can see, this is very cryptic. It's got this is one of our lumber products. It's got the measurements, and the problem is there are no attributes. There's no thickness, there's no length, and so on. If I click on single step, what this is showing me is that if command was successful, so it did match. If I click on single step again, it's done an extract. It's created 3 temporary places to store the thickness, the width, and the length. And now the next command that is highlighted is to take $thickness, which is here, and to create an attribute called thickness. And notice the product has now got an attribute of thickness. I do that again, it's got one of width, and I can do length. And one of the things that we've also noticed is that in many of our customers, they're using fractional numbers in a string form, which makes it very difficult to use range operators, and search doesn't work very well. So we've created a function that allows you to change a number from being fractional to decimal. In this case, these aren't fractional numbers, so it will do nothing. So it will just skip over that. But now I'm into the next line, which is to replace in the product name Doug Fir with Douglas Fir. And notice the product name changes. I'm changing S4S to smooth four sides, and so on. And in the case of this data, we have some extraneous words which have crept in. So pre-cut premium and pre-cut on its own are both, we want to actually remove them. So I'm just going to change them for nothing. In this case, they don't exist, but you'll see an example where they do. And finally, we're going to convert the case of the product name to capitalize all of the words and to store it back in the product name. So now we've gone from a very kind of unreadable product name to something that is much more readable. We've expanded the abbreviations. We've also extracted useful attributes, and these will appear on the front end as filters if that's what is required. So let me just show you another example. Product 39 has got a slightly different set of data. And again, I'm just going to go through a step at a time so that you can see the changes happening. We're checking if it matches the pattern. It does. So now we're going to extract the thickness, width, and length. And notice here that the length is a fractional number. I'm just going to skip through, add in the thickness, the width, and the length. And now I've got this fraction to decimal function or statement, which is telling me that if there is a fractional number and the fraction is separated with a hyphen, which is specified there, then take it from length and store it in decimal length. So what we've done there is taken 104-5/8, which is a string, and now we've got a pure number which can be used in range operations and so on. And of course, then we've got these other transformations, taking out various words that aren't required, changing prem PC to premium pre-cut, which is what it means. KD means kiln dried, and then capitalize everything. And again, we've completely transformed that. Now I could do that all in one go. If I just go back to that first product, I could say execute the entire thing, and it would do the whole thing in one go. But it's quite useful when you're playing around with these scripts to do a line at a time and check that you're seeing the correct outputs. I'm going to show you one more example, which is related to our screw products. And I'm just going to use an example of 63830, which is one of our screw products. And as you can see, again, it's quite a cryptic description. We've got the size in terms of the screw gauge and the screw length. We've also got the pack size, and that's why I wanted to show you this, because we're also extracting pack size in this case. And again, if I single step through that, so we're getting the gauge of the screw. It's a 12 gauge screw. It's a 1-inch screw, and we store those as attributes in the product data. And then we change the acronym or the abbreviation of FL to Phillips flathead, because that's what that means. In the case of this data, the word flat appears twice, and so we're actually going to remove that because that's just extraneous. And then we're going to look to see if we get a match on anything with a pack size. And in this case, we do. And so we extract the pack size. So the pack size is 75. We've done that using a pattern match on there, and then we can store that as an attribute to the product. And that would, when this data transformation is running rather than being tested, that would actually update all the product information. And finally, we're just converting the case again to make it all look a bit better. And so that's a few examples of what data transformations can do. Hopefully it gives you some idea. The regular expressions can look a bit complicated, but they're actually really easy, and we're going to run a little tutorial on those. But the good thing about the regular expressions, it means you can find any pattern. So if you want to find 2 digits followed by 3 numbers, followed by any number of digits, followed by a dot and something else, you can do that, and it's very, very straightforward. But with that, I'd like to switch back to the slides, and in fact, we've got a poll next. So Matt, are you able to pop that poll open?
Yep, poll's up for him. So after seeing all the stuff we just showed you on data transformations, can you see uses for this in your catalog? We'll give them a little bit to vote. So far, everyone's saying yes. 50-50 on certain areas versus this will save us a lot of effort.
That's good. That's good. I mean, we know from the customers we work with that a large percentage of them have data problems to some extent. Some have lots of data problems, and others have very confined data problems. But if you've got data problems, then it's great if you can fix it. And that's what we're aiming to do with data transformations. And of course, once you've transformed the data, then if you need to, you can export that back to the source if that's an option for you. So there's that data is fixed once and for all.
So yeah, in the end, 67% said yes for certain areas, and 33% that will save them a lot of effort.
Great. Okay. Well, hopefully that was useful. And as I said in a future webinar, we're going to be talking in more detail and doing a brief tutorial how to construct that pattern matching string that allows you to find virtually anything. So with that, I'm just going to summarize. So Amplify is from EasyAsk, the natural language search people. And it's a next generation B2B platform. It has comprehensive functionality. It's integrated with your ERP system. Of course, it's EasyAsk search enabled. We take advantage of everything we can within the EasyAsk search engine. We include a comprehensive PIM, and we'll do a more detailed view of that in a future webinar as well. We've got a great import and export system based on definitions that we've pre-created to match the Storefront system. Of course, data transformation we think is a game changer for companies that have got a data problem. And of course, on the front end, you can use the API or you can use the site manager. So we support both ways. And if your customers are requesting that you support the automation system for purchasing, then Punch-Out integration is available through our integration with Punch-Out to Go, and that supports many automation systems. And the whole thing is fast implementation. So we're looking at less than 6 months and possibly as low as 2 months in order to get implemented. So with that, I thank you for your time, and our contact details are on the screen. I don't know if there's anything you need to add, Matt.
No, just some more question and answer period here for the end of it, Robin. So we've got a couple questions here already from the earlier period that came afterwards. So one of these says, how easy is it to add new images to products? I know this is something we've dealt with Storefront quite a few times.
Yeah, and obviously adding images in Storefront is not easy. I can let me just see if I can quickly show you. If I want to add an image, it's very, very easy. I'll just pick any product and choose an image. And on the media tab, as you can see, there's an image here. If I want to add another image, I could either upload from my machine. Just see what I've got. I've got, let's just choose a camera. It's as simple as that, and that is now uploaded to our image server. Or if we already had images on the image server, then we could simply choose it, and we've got a media manager. Hopefully that answers the question.
Yeah, we got a few more, Robin. So just to clarify, our current storefront is just the products, but it sounds like Amplify integrates both the front end of a website as well as the products page. Is that true?
Yeah, so Amplify will allow you to create the site, which and the product page is obviously just part of that. So Amplify will consist, your Amplify site will consist of your home page for shopping, category pages, search pages, product detail pages, and any other pages you want to have. So it is a complete platform. It will manage all the products. It will integrate in the back end with the ERP. So where we need to get pricing and inventory information, the Amplify system will make calls back to SX or whatever the ERP you're using is. I hope that makes sense. Certainly, we define a number pages and they're all template driven, but you can create as many as you wish.
I got another one here. Can the system handle sales via credit card? Is the platform PCI certified?
We're not PCI certified yet. We use we can use any payment provider, so we could use SemPOS, but out of the box we're using Stripe. And Stripe takes care of the PCI compliance, so we wouldn't suggest storing the credit card information in the catalog in the database.
Okay. Another one here. Could we make our shopping site look more like our marketing site?
Yeah, of course. The look and feel that you can create is not limited in any way. So we have designers who, if you want us to take one of our standard templates and make it look like your marketing site, we can certainly do that, or we can improve on that and come up with suggestions for you. But there is no limit on the look and feel.
All right. I think that is it. I'm not seeing any other questions coming in. So I think that's it, Robin.
Okay, well, thank you everybody for your time. Excuse me, please get in touch if you want to find out more and discuss your requirements, and we can show you a lot more, of course.
Yeah, folks, as Robin said, we really do appreciate your time, and we hope this gets you excited for the future, as we'd love to discuss this new B2B platform with you directly, as there is a lot more to Amplify than we can show you, obviously, in this short Lunch and Learn webinar. So please do not hesitate to reach out. Also, there is a survey that will pop up at the end of the webinar, and this survey gives us the best information for future webinar ideas for you guys. So please fill that out as it pops up, and thank you all again for your time. Have a wonderful day.